How's it going, everyone? This is Griffin Spear, and it's time for Grifftalks once again. So yeah, you can consider this Grifftalks 2.0, but yeah, Grifftalks is coming back. So in this episode, I want to talk about some new cars that I've added, and these are the first cars actually that I painted for the 2019 mod, for Enter 2003. I've always had that thought of always adding cars to the current car set because, as you know, it's barely hitting even 40 cars this season. So what if we added some more? So thanks to the wonderful people at Splash and Go Graphics, we have this mod that closely resembles the 2019 cars that we see today. And these were actually the last cars that I painted on my old laptop. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of talk about each of these cars that I painted, and the description, or in the description below, you'll be able to download each of these cars. So let's get right into it. To start this off, we're going to talk about car number 5. So I think that Christopher Bell will eventually, that was weird, I was combining eventually and officially and whatever. Eventually, Christopher Bell will be in the Cup Series. I believe that he will be driving for Leavine Family Racing as a second team, kind of the way how Eric Jones got into the Cup Series by being a second team at Furniture Row Racing in 2017. The number I went with is 5. And the reason why number 5 is simply it's an iconic number in NASCAR. You had the likes of Jeff Bodine, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, and of course, we can't forget about the legend, Casey Mears, all drive the number 5 car. So I think Christopher Bell will continue driving number 5. And the reason why number 5 is because Matt DiBenedetto has 95, and you could do 59, or I could have done 59 if I wanted to, but I mean, that's too simple. That's way too simple. And again, 5 is a single-digit number that no one has, and hey, why not? Let's have some fun with it. So, I have Christopher Bell in the number 5 Dumont Jets Toyota, driving for Leavine Family Racing. I went with Dumont Jets because it is, I would say, in my opinion, it is the biggest partner that is not Procore that helps with Matt DiBenedetto. So I could see Dumont Jets stepping up their game, having a bigger presence in NASCAR, and they carry, for the most part, the load for Christopher Bell. So if you do look at the car for Christopher Bell, I'm just talking a little bit about specifically the design. What the big thing that I did on the side was I took 2 rectangles, and I used 2 different hues of red. One closer to pink, one closer to a darker red. And I had them originally lined up top to bottom. And then what I did was I then skewed the rectangles up. And then there's a special little feature when you have the transform feature on. And this is for Photoshop, by the way. If you hold down the control key and then you take the bottom right corner, you could take that and overlap it on top. And so if you look at Christopher Bell's car, you have this feature where it's it goes in and then it goes out again like a double triangle. And I did it mostly just as an experimentation to see how it goes, and I think it turned out good. It's fine. And yeah, that's the route that I went with. And then just one little note on the 5. I literally took the 5 that was part of the number font set and just stretched it out wider. Now, a couple of credentials I do want to throw out. First of all, the number set that I took was actually a Leavine Family Racing number set, and it had all the digits 0 through 9, and it was from iPug HD of Stunod Racing. I believe that's how you say the name of the company, Stunod. Anyway, iPug HD created the number set for all the numbers, and I was able to take the 5 off of that and stretch it out wide. So that's that credit. And then of course the template and mod is from Splash and Go Graphics. The B pillar was from Foster Ick on Stunod Racing. I believe that's how you say your name. And then One Tough Customer created the contingencies on the left side or the front side on each of the cars. So thank you guys for each of those parts and helping me make this car as realistic as possible. And then the last thing I want to mention too is that I did put Rheem as an associate sponsor on the side, and the simple reason why I do have that is because Rheem already sponsors Christopher Bell in the Xfinity series, and so I thought, hey, why not? Let's have him be an associate in the Cup series once he makes that leap to Cup. So there you go. Christopher Bell's number 5 Dumont Jets Toyota is now in the Cup series. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place an ad right here. And if you did not see an ad, thank you anyway for watching this video. And if you haven't already, lick that like button, as what Jared the Iceberg says. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button. That would help me out a lot as I continue to create more content. It'll help out a lot. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on over to the next car, and I think a few of you guys would like this. If you guys are a big fan of the Lombard brothers and N2 SC4R, how do you say that name? I don't know, but Joseph Lombard. So the big what if I played with is, what if Ryan Sieg made the leap to the Cup Series? So if I wanted to, I could have gone ahead and recreated the car from scratch that is already in the Xfinity series, but I decided to play around and do some other little things. So before I continue, the contingencies and all of the credits are the same. One Tough Customer and Stonod Racing did the contingencies. B-Pillar I made myself because it was just the SEM. Yeah, so I just threw that in there, so that was me. What else? And then the mod and tip. Oh yeah, the number. The number is from Big Evil Racing. If you guys are looking for any numbers to help you create your car, so like if you want like Chase Elliott's 9, Ryan Blaney's 12, Ty Dillon's 13, anything like that, and you can, even historic ones like Terry Labonte's 5 and Jeff Gordon's 24, they're all available at Big Evil Racing, and I'll put that link in the description down below. Not sponsored by them, but I do want to give them a shout out because they make great work over there. So, going back to Ryan Sieg, what I did is, as you see these like blue little, I would call them like mountains, either mountains or triangles, if you will, on the side. My big inspiration for making this car is the PS2. If you guys are old enough to play or know what a PS2 is, you start off and you see these like cubes around the edges. And that's kind of the route I wanted to go, except I went a little more blue because that's what the Lombard Brothers logo is. It's more blue. So what I did with each of the triangles is that I, of course, duplicated it. And in every other triangle, I went ahead and I shifted the color just a little bit so that each triangle has its own little identity. And then a weird little add-on, and again, I did this just to kind of mess around just to see if it works, is that I took the triangle, cut it in half, and then on the right side, so if you're looking at the left side of the car, the right part of the triangle, I added a bit of a motion blur just to make it look like it's going fast, because I mean Ryan Sieg is pretty fast this year. So I went ahead and did that just to kind of show that Lombard Brothers Gaming is the pinnacle of, racing gaming content. So yeah, and then the Lombard Brothers Gaming logo, as I mentioned before, front, side, and back, and to show them off. So yeah, that's my little what if on what if Joseph Lombard and Ryan Sieg Racing decide to make that leap to the Cup Series. So yeah, I believe that is it. Oh yeah, and then of course one other little detail, you got the rookie stripes on the back, and then you got the little rookie contingency, which is also from One Tough Customer as well. So with that being said, I believe that is good. If you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know. Otherwise, the description will be, the download will be in the description. The description will not be in the download because, to be quite frank, that does not make any sense. The last car that I did was Ben Rhodes, number 99 Carolina Nut Ford Mustang. I'll quickly mention the credits here. The B-pillar, again, was from Fosterick. He created all of the B-pillars for this set. The 99 actually was made by another person on Stonod Racing, as I'm going to look this up quickly. The number was actually made by Sour Patch Kids CS on Stonod Racing. And what he did was he took the 98 that is from Big Evil Racing and he turned that into 99, which I would probably admit is pretty simple, but he made it and I want to give him credit to that. And then, of course, One Tough Customer with the contingencies once again, and Fosterick with the big pillar. So why did I make this car? Why did I go ahead of all the cars I could have painted, I painted this? Well, putting it simply, the truck that I base this off of is, without a doubt, my most favorite looking truck of the year so far. And I think it's the yellow, the black and yellow combo, because I mean, if you see my logo, I'm a sucker for black and yellow. And then another big thing that I'm a huge fan of too is the number font. 99 is probably the best number, and if you do the font just right, like, I'm sold. And the car could be almost anything, and I love it because the number font is so appealing in my opinion. And actually the 99, if you look at it a little bit closely, it kind of looks like the same 99 font that you saw on Bubba Wallace on the car that I made for both the 2015 and 2016 Summer Showdown. Which, side note, all I just did is I took the 6 that he drove in the Xfinity Series those 2 years, flipped it upside down, duplicated it, and then shrunk it so that the numbers would fit on the side of the car. So going back to Ben Rhodes, and then the reason why the yellow is on the side was because Menards was an associate sponsor on that car. So I decided to go ahead and run with that, and this car specifically ran at Daytona. I know that in the later races, it was just Carolina Nut, and it's more black and blue. I wanted to go with the yellow, though, and specifically because it's a lot more busy, and I personally am a fan of busy cars. And what I mean by that is that there's enough design and logos on the car to make it look completely active. If it's purposely underfunded, then sure, I'll go ahead and I'll not make it as busy. But like if it's supposed to be like a full-fledged, full-running car, then I want to make sure to have as many different logos or design patterns as possible to keep it busy. So going back to Ben Rhodes, I had the yellow on the side, and then I had the yellow on the quarter panel with the Menards logo on the side. And then I had the blue stripes, which really wasn't that big of a deal. I just took the blue rectangle feature and just duplicated it a few times. So you had 2 by the Goodyear logo on the front. Then you had 1, 2, 3 on the bottom on the side. And then I just took a bigger rectangle that's on top. And then I also did a race a little bit on the top left, just so that you don't get this big bulge on the top left. And then of course I went ahead and duplicated all those shapes, flipped it, and I flipped it vertically so that they lined up accordingly. And then a couple little minor notes that I did on this car. First of all, the B-pillars I used on this one are actually Ryan Newman's B-pillar logos. So you see you got Ford, Oscar Mayer, Coca-Cola, and I believe Performance Plus. And the reason why is I just kind of went with the idea of Thor Sport having support from Roush Racing, and they'd be able to throw in some support dollars, if you will, if Thor Sport decided to go up, and then Oscar Mayer, Coca-Cola. And I don't know if Ben Rhodes is sponsored by Coca-Cola or not, but in this what-if world, I'd say let's do it. And then I also had a couple of little logos next to Ben Rhodes as well, including Wix, Tenda, Rifle TV, and Champion, because all of them, with Wix I'm not too sure about, but all the other ones, they're all our sponsors in the truck series already, and I thought, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and have them support Ben Rhodes as well. One last note, with all the cars, I do play around with the metallic and chrome features, and that, in my opinion, makes the car so much more realistic. Because if you leave them if you leave those off, they become a lot more 2D and not as lifelike, and I'm personally not a fan of that. So like on Ben Rhodes' car, you see like the shine on top. I had the metallic, and I'll give you guys the exact numbers. For the metallics, metallic 1 is at 30% opacity, and then metallic 2 is at 43% opacity. And then the chrome 1 is at 52% opacity, and then chrome 2 is at 50% opacity. Alright, so that'll do it for this first episode of Grifftalks. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions on how you want me to kind of go about doing these Grifftalks, that'd be appreciative. But yeah, that's how I'm going to do this, is stuff that I create. I kind of talk more in detail about stuff that I did about it, just thoughts, feelings. I personally do enjoy making all these cars. I would probably say Christopher Bell's, I find, I'll admit it, I not as much. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but it was just more of an experimentation with that car than anything else. But otherwise, everything else is good. So again, credits to everyone will be in the description below, and I think that'll do it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and this is Griffin Spear saying so long until next time.